edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Pour here on a thirsty Thursday. Barnes and Michael, second show of the week. Are you kidding me, brother?
Yo, I know, it's crazy. I feel kind of bad because it's Tony's kind of day off, but not really. He's still editing, but they just clinched. He's not here, but he would say I did that on purpose.
And you know, there's something I do have to say to that. And I would say Tony is not applicable here, maybe a little bit, but you know, I respect, you know, he's not over the top at most of the time anyway.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, most Mets fans, I don't know. I just think it might be a little much right now, and I'm sure I'm not going to hear the end of it from Kev Dew about that. But, you know, that's something we'll get to.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just so pumped for today. What an exciting Yankee game last night. And me and you, Michael, were talking about it before the show. Great night. You know, me and Matt, you know, he had class. So I want to say he got to my house maybe like bottom of the fourth, you know, maybe fifth inning, let's call it. And, you know, saw the rest of the way. Just such an exciting, your heart beating out of your chest type of game. And that's what postseason baseball is all about, and especially Yankee postseason baseball. And of course, you know, we'll get to the full breakdown of last night's game. But it couldn't have been more exciting. I mean, and it's crazy to think about how long it had been, but Giancarlo Stanton's go-ahead eighth inning home run was the first Yankee go-ahead home run playoffs, eighth inning or later, since Raul Ibanez, Michael, 2012. Me and Matt, at that time, you know, were watching at Eastern, and it was just an unbelievable, you know, feeling. We were in High Rise, was the name of the dorm there, and we were going nuts. And it's just crazy to think that it had been 12 years since we had that type of moment. And also too, another, you know, little food for thought here, Michael, and I don't know if you saw this. I feel like you might have, because it seems like something that you would be fired up about. Giancarlo Stanton, through the first 30 games, as in his Yankee career in the playoffs, most home runs, team history, 12. Are you kidding? And we're talking about Ruth. We're talking about Garrick, Michael. We're talking about Reggie Jackson.
I know. I was thinking that person specifically.
That is crazy.
No, he's
and it's interesting you say that with Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're saying there's a parallel. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of am. I feel like I don't care what he does in the regular season now.
Right.
Because if he's doing this in the postseason all the time, like fire it up.
And I mean, obviously, I know
he's stealing bases. Like, come on, that fired you up a little bit.
Yeah, dude. No, but that's baseball instinct. Realizing, oh, they're not paying attention to me. And honestly, I mean, listen, completely different scenarios, but it almost reminded me of myself in a way, because Babe Ruth, last couple of years, I used to do that all the time, because I would hear the coach say, "Don't worry about him. He's not going anywhere."
Yeah.
So that was that type of scenario. And how about two with Stanton there? A 3-1 slider that was actually a ball. And for him to hit it out and way out, 417 feet. They showed the graphics last night. All directions of the field blowing in. Just right field was even with the wind. So you weren't getting any help there. I mean, that is just pure man strength there out of Giancarlo Stanton.
It was good to see for him.
Good to see.
Judge was ecstatic, bro.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like that kind of lifted a weight off his shoulders. Like, you know what? I don't need to be the guy like every night. Like I have a team, and like it's going to be a moment. My moment's going to come, and it's going to be classic.
Absolutely. And I think you could tell, and, you know, just watching that game last night, that he's close. He hit some good balls. First inning, 115 miles an hour, right at Bobby Witt. Not much, you could do about that. So I expect him to step up tonight, and I'm just so excited. Garrett Cole back on the mound, ready for a vengeance, Michael. After an uneven game one performance, a game that they won. So I can't wait for that. So much still to talk about from last night. But before we do that, a bunch of comments early and often.
Yes, let's go. Kev Do wants to smoke. The Mets are in the NLCS. Who would have thought? Whoever doubted the Mets, you can go kick rocks. Matt Ryan, shut your bitch ass up today. Michael Buckta, morning, my old men. Joe Davis is effing trash. He needs to go. I want my Vince Scully back.
Michael with the announcer.
Scully was the definition of baseball. As for football, the Steelers are absolutely garbage and are losing their next 2 out of 3 games at least. They are a meme. Matthew Ryan, Yankees need to show New York they are a champion quality team and win game 4. They did that last night. But anyway, Michael Buckta, and we probably won't see each other this weekend, guys. So we will most likely have to wait until Christmas break to see each other.
Wait. I have a question. Did Michael Buckta say anything about the New York Yankees or no?
Negative.
Yeah, Michael, I don't know if you should wait till Christmas, honestly. I think you need some time with the DTV crew. We need to straighten you out.
Yeah. You need to come to class. Yo, fam, great New York sports day,
Josh,
period. Rangers dominated. We'll get to it.
Yes.
Knicks won the preseason opener. Tommy Donovan, what up, fam? John Carlo with a clutch dinger. Let's close this out tonight with Cole on the hill. I'm completely booked this weekend at home. Yes, Tommy. Yes. Yankees will dominate Matthew Ryan.
Let's fucking go. So love those comments. Love the energy. And like I said, just what a night. Last night. So let's just dive right into it, Michael. The world of Major League Baseball.
What a play! Stop it, Tony. Skip. And Alonso cracks one. The Mets win the ball game. Out of sight.
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeout.
Drove deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
Right. Yankees win. All right. So the Yankees with a big 3-2 victory last night in Kansas City. A game that was really down to the wire, down to the last second. And there really is nothing like it. And of course, it's tough. It's stressful. But there's nothing like that feeling of your heart beating out of your chest. Every pitch, every at bat, every play, just so important. If you start at the beginning of the game, I'm not gonna lie, I was disappointed just in terms of, I had mentioned this yesterday on the show. I wanted to see them jump out to that lead, get some runs on the board. In the first inning, Glaber first pitch, grounding out, and then you had Juan Soto, and this was showing, how hard the wind was blowing. He absolutely roped that. We see it here on the replay. I would say about 2 feet short of a home run, and they showed the wind, I think, was blowing in 4 or 6 miles an hour. So that made the difference right there. So you knew he was right on it. And then Judge, I mentioned the hardest hit ball of the night, 150 miles an hour, absolutely rips it. But of course, Witt right there, what a play. So that was kind of tough. But you felt at least, okay, it seems like, they're seeing the ball decently. Clark Schmidt, a nice, easy, 1-2-3 inning. Witt did send Soto, back a little bit, but he makes the catch. So you were on to the second inning. And then Austin Wells, and it'll be interesting to see when the lineup comes out. He did have that big go-ahead hit in game 1. But overall, last month to 6 weeks, kind of has struggled, a pretty good amount here. Was so electric when he first became the cleanup hitter. He struck out there in his first at bat of the second. Giancarlo rips a grounder, but of course, again, right at Witt, and then Jazz grounding out. So nothing through the first 2 innings. Second inning, we have our first base runner of the game after a Sal Perez strikeout. Clark Schmidt doing a good job of working the count there. Yuli Gurriel, who the Yankees are familiar with, a lot of those series with the Astros, has a double. So, all right, first, kind of adversity here in the game, but he gets Melendez striking out. That was a big second out, and then Maikel Garcia grounds out. On to the third. Volpe with a grounded out. You got a Cabrera walk, and he was very good in this game at working the count. But you're able to do nothing with that as Verdugo and Glaber fly out. Onto the third, Clark dialed in. You could tell, very sharp, very crisp, a lot of movement on his pitches. Strikes out Adam Frazier. He hits Kyle Isabel, but then he induces a ground ball double play to get out of that inning. And then we're on to the fourth. Juan Soto, leadoff walk, as he always does, working the count. Judge gives one a ride, and it was one of those things, and I know it would piss you off, Michael. I don't know if you heard this, saw this. I would think there would be something on social media about this, but Bob Costas goes, and Aaron Judge hits one and it didn't even go to the warning track. Like, it was like, are you kidding me? One of many Costas mistakes, and this was my first time getting a full game with Costas here in the playoffs. Absolutely brutal, as well as the TBS broadcast. We'll get to it. But then Austin Wells strikes out again. So you're like, we're really going to, waste this base runner. But Giancarlo Stanton, the man of the game here, 3 for 5, including this double, absolutely laced it. Really didn't miss from going out much. Juan Soto scoring from first, and, that gave the Yankees a 1-0 lead. And Jazz, got the last out of that inning. Clark strong in the fourth as well, striking out Bobby Witt, who really has not had a good series. He walks past Quintino, but then he gets Salvador Perez and Gurriel to fly out. So we're on to the fifth inning. Volpe with a leadoff single, and then you had a Cabrera walk. So first and second, nobody out. Verdugo, first bunt foul. You're thinking, what is he doing? He's trying to bunt one at his eyes. Does get the bunt down perfectly second time. So second and third, one out. Glaber walks, bases loaded. Soto comes up, gives one a ride, but sac fly gives the Yankees a 2-0 lead. And then Judge flying out there. So 2-0 going to the bottom of the fifth. Clark gets Melendez on a line out to Judge for the first out. Gets a Maikel Garcia grounded for the second out. But then with 2 outs, Adam Frazier with a single. And then he also gives up a double, and you look at the replay of this. I mean, it really looked as if it was going to, to go foul. But it stays fair to give Kansas City their first run of the game 2-1. And then tough play here. Soto trying to save the inning here. Diving attempt at a Michael Mazzei sinking liner gets by him for a triple. So the game's tied. And then they bring in Clay Holmes, who's been big in this division series so far. He walks Bobby Witt, but then he gets Vinny Pasquantino to fly out to center. And then, sixth inning, you had Austin Wells flying out his first at bat of the inning, and then Stanton with a single. So you had 1 on, 1 out. Jazz called out on strikes. Volpe walks, and then Cabrera lining out to center. On to the bottom of the sixth, Clay Holmes, 1, 2, 3. So has really latched on to that, fifth, sixth, middle innings roll. Then you go on to the seventh, and you get 2 groundouts by Verdugo and Torres. Soto walks, but then unfortunately Judge striking out swinging. You go to Canely for the seventh. 1, 2, and 3. Canely has been a revelation after missing most of last season with injury, missing a little time with injury this year, but was absolutely dominant in the regular season. That's carried on to the postseason. So we go on to the eighth, and this is where the dramatics ensue. And another Wells strikeout, so obviously a terrible game for him. But Stanton on a 3-1 pitch, was not a strike, probably, between his feet and his upper shin, I guess you could say, but hits that slider out to left and just kept carrying and carrying. He was so fired up, turning back at the dugout. And that's why you bring Stanton in. And then nothing else that inning, just a Volpe walk, and then a few, ground outs to get out of that inning. So we go on to the eighth. They keep Canely in because of his changeup going up against the left-handed batter, Michael Massey. He gets that out, But then they go to Luke Weaver for the 5-out save. Bobby Witt, first hit of the series. So you got 1 on, 1 out. But then you had another Costas play, Michael. And I don't know if you saw this one. A great play by Anthony Volpe. But Costas goes, Pasquantino hits a single intercept. And then Volpe catches it. And we're just like, are you kidding me? I mean, it was a great play by Volpe, but just jumping the gun. Costas really not feeling the moment. And then you had a Sal Perez single. So that gave you first and third, 2 outs. Yuli Gurriel up. You know, he had some big games against the Yankees with the Astros before. You're a little nervous there. Weaver gets the fly out. So on to the 9th inning. Glaber with a ground out. Soto reaching on an error. Easy ball for Gurriel to field. He doesn't. And then you get Judge to walk. So you have first and second, 1 out, but Wells lines out and Stanton popping out in foul territory. And then fortunately for the Yankees, a 1-2-3 9th out of Weaver. Interesting. You know, he's had a lot of strikeouts this year, over 100 out of the bullpen. No strikeouts in this night, but that didn't matter. A Melendez fly out, a Miguel Garcia pop out. They go former Met Tommy Pham to pinch hit. You know, so you were like, oh, I don't, you know, what's going to happen here? First pitch swing, a little too antsy, grounds out to short. Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win. So a huge, Michael, Game 3 victory. And especially it felt good. And I don't know if you saw this too. There were a few calls that didn't go the Yankees' way. One being the challenge on the Glaber Torres fly ball down the right field line. I guess they determined it inconclusive, but it seemed like it hit right on the edge of the line. The Yankees would have had another run there. They don't get that call. And there were several calls by the umpire, the home plate umpire, you know, calling ball strikes that were a couple inches off the plate. So you made it through that. You made it through your lineup getting 1 hit other than Stanton, who was a star at 3 for 5. But you got some great pitching out of Clark Schmidt. I think he pitched even better than his line suggested. You know, those 2 runs with 2 outs, well-placed balls. You know, he just really stepped up to the moment. And then your bullpen, 4 1/3 scoreless. That's all you could ask for. Luke Weaver, what a job he's done at the back end of the bullpen. So let's go. All on the line tonight. You know, with the Yankees trotting out Garrett Cole, Royals going with Michael Wacha. So a rematch of game 1 there, and 1 win away for the Yankees to return to the American League Championship Series. Let's go, Michael.
Let's go. Pumped.
So riled. And I believe when I was doing the summary, a couple comments trickled in, maybe Jason.
Yeah. So we have Jay saying, look at those Mets, baby. Ha ha, Mets, baby. Ha 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 ha. Yankees who? Lindor grand slam was such an electric play to watch. Judge could never.
Finish the comments first.
At Jay Bird, frauds. He's talking about the Mets. And then Jay ends it with like, comment, subscribe.
And I hate to do this.
Yeah.
But I think what Matthew Ryan said applies to Jason. I'm sorry. I think he's getting a little too ahead of himself. You know, I know
it's the Mets fan syndrome.
Mets fan syndrome, and he got riled for some prop bets. But listen, Jay, I don't think you understand how difficult the postseason is. And then to go after Judge, you don't
big
poke
mistake.
The bear. You don't poke the bear.
You don't.
It gets you in trouble. But like I said, of
Jay's
course
he's laughing right now.
We all love Jay.
Yep.
Wait, what do you mean you're watching?
No, he's laughing. I could just tell.
Listening to like a live feed.
No, imagine. Jay, I'm watching you.
Yeah. So, and you know what I see is, and we talked about this yesterday, and me and Tony were actually on some common ground about this. The Met fan is so sensitive. It's unbelievable. And I just feel like, listen, okay, throughout the season, maybe I've gotten a little crazy, whatever you want to call it, Michael. But at the end of the day, I mean, we all have our teams. We're all fans of our teams. There's no requirement to be like anything with the Mets. The Mets have nothing to do with the Yankees. Whatever the Mets are going to do, the Mets are going to do.
Literally is what I said to Matthew Ryan on TikTok Live this morning. Literally the same. He comes in, first thing he says is, Mets are frauds, like he's saying right now. And I'm like, Are you a Yankee fan?
Yeah.
Like, because
Yeah.
the Yankees won last night,
Yeah.
and then they played tonight at 8, and it's like, dope. We're gonna go to the ALDS. Like, that's what. Like, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
Like, it's dope, cool for them, but like, our focus is this division.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And I was kind of fired up too. Shout out John, honestly, because he was watching the game with us last night too. He was fired up, and I was mentioning, the group chat going around, a couple Mets fans in the group chat that I'm not in, but he was telling me about it when he was a kid. Big Yankee fan. It was like, oh, well, it's nice that the Mets are making a run, but now he's had to hear some of the Mets fan stuff, and he's saying, like, basically, like, without saying it, he's saying fuck him, and he was fired up for the Yankees. He's like, we're worried about what we're doing. Let them do what they're doing. And I know Kev Dew said
he said, I got him. I'm going to respond to him. He said, Yankees barely won. I'm going to go to that one. And you know what I have to say to him? He's behind Barnes right now. Vinny Diesel. It doesn't matter whether you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning.
Let's go, Yankees!
Yeah!
Exactly. And you know what it is? I'll give Kev a pass because he's used to the Mets not being in the playoffs. Okay. So he doesn't have too much experience with that. And if you watch a lot of playoff baseball, you would know that it's not like, oh yeah, we're just going to hit grand slams and win every game. Like, you've had a great run now, but what are you going to do? Game 1, NLCS, you give up a grand slam of your own in the first inning. You're down 6-2 in the 7th. What are you going to do? You drop the first 2 games. What are you going to do? Has no idea what's in store for him. There's no style points in the postseason. And on top of it, as we know, Michael, from all the Yankee championship teams we've watched over the years, the championship teams win close games, win tough games. It's not always on a silver platter.
Exactly. Kev Dew's tight. Show sucks today because the Mets fan is not in today, so it's shit on the Mets.
Yeah,
and
the
it's
Mets.
not.
Well,
it's not shit on the Mets.
Not shit on the Mets, but I think the fans need to do better.
Yes.
Honestly, I really do. You want to be hyped for your team, fine, but get the fuck away from us. That's all I'm saying.
They're too concerned with the Yankees.
It's two separate things. We're pumped up, and you're talking about like thunder and stuff. We don't need you guys attempting to do that. Not that you're going to, but don't even try. Okay, that's all I would have to say.
You saw 1, maybe 2 chips. Actually, technically, Barnes has witnessed
5.
the 90s. Yeah, exactly.
But no, 1 or 2. So that's wrong there. And then I love when he talks about that stuff. That doesn't have anything to do with anything, Kev. Okay, we're talking about right here, right now. Let's fucking go, and that's it. That's all it's about. That's all it's going to be about. And I just honestly, I'm just so pumped. I'm just so ready to go.
Big game tonight.
I wouldn't want anybody other than Garrett Cole on the mound tonight, especially Michael, because I know you're big on storylines.
Oh, yeah.
Adversity.
Yes.
He didn't have a game 1, and he was fortunate to get out the way he did.
I can just foretell and foresee, I should say, the guys who everyone expected in the beginning of the year to step up are going to step up today, including Cole and especially Judge. To close it
100%.
You can just see it, like writings on the wall.
And it's one of those things, like with the people, going after Judge for the postseason numbers. It's convenient for them until it's not. So it's the same thing. Oh,
remember, it was the same thing with him with the strikeouts, dude.
Yes.
It was with the slider or the away pitch or whatever.
And
he can't hit. He can only do home runs, remember? And now it's like, now what?
Yeah, exactly. And it also too,
and it's tough. Kev thinks that because I've been really supportive of the Mets all season.
You're sick of it though. I can tell you're a little fed up. With
because Tony, Tony, I don't mean to call you out here, but like last night he let it slip. He said we're going all the way, and it's like you just said it. You've seen so many playoffs. Like, yeah, that's great. You won the first series, but like Kobe Bryant. Sadly, Tatum has ruined it. Job's not done. So there's like really nothing to celebrate like until you win the World Series.
Yes. And then we talk about
that's another thing. Like, do people, and I'm not just all fans in general, besides I think Yankee fans, because everybody says, oh, you guys get so tight, World Series. Yeah, because like that's the only goal.
That's the only
Why is
expectation.
everybody?
No, John, I swear to God, I wish John was here. He was getting so fired up last night. He's like, you guys are pathetic. You're not even more concerned about winning the World Series. You're more concerned about trying to get farther than the Yankees. And it's just like, worry about your fucking self. And on top of it, I see some bulletin board material here. If you want to continue, Michael, some comments. Kev?
Asking
for the smoke. You want the fucking smoke?
Because when the Mets beat the Yanks, I didn't want to hear it, but we 27 chips, that will be but
you realize what you just said. You're putting a lot of pressure on yourself.
Matthew Ryan, respectfully, shut up. Yo, Matty Ryan, I told you, shut your bitch ass up and collect your cards. We would not sweep the Mets. Get real. I'm so pumped. Yankees are a World Series team. One
thing that I would say too, I want Josh. I know he's a Grizzly vet, more than a Grizzly vet than me in these situations. He was texting last night, and he was pumped for the Stanton home run. Definitely, made some comment about Judge struggles. But Josh, I want you to be pumped, okay?
Yeah.
Fuck the Mets. I'm not saying we would sweep them either, but there's no reason for you to ever be defensive of the Mets. The Mets are the Mets. Let the Mets do whatever they want to do. But let's be pumped about the Yankees. Let's all unite together and let's get the fucking job done tonight, Michael.
Yes. Speaking of the Mets, I feel like we should talk about them.
Oh, whoa.
I know.
Michael, I mean, what are you, like, producing or something?
I know, right?
I think we did, though, have a couple more comments.
We did. So pumped. Yankees are World Series, but we need Judge to hit.
And I mean, I couldn't be more confident that Judge is going to have a big game tonight.
Me too.
Like, it's like, I feel like people are so stupid. They expect him to just struggle in the playoffs forever. It's like, bro, are you kidding me? Like, do you not realize that is not how it works?
No.
At all. So, I'm really excited to see him, have his moment, get over the hump, and let's get this done. Let's clinch tonight. And then game 1 Monday in the Bronx. Let's fucking go. So excited about that, and we'll talk more about tonight's game in a second, Michael. But since you're and you know what, I was gonna get into the Mets, but Kevin wants to continue. What else did we have here?
Bro, are you delusional, bro? What has he done?
Are you delusional, bro? Are you delusional, bro? I don't think you understand, Kev. It's not about what you did before. It's about what you're doing right now. And what do we got for Josh?
Like you said, I'm a Grizzlies vet. I can see what I'm watching. The Mets are the hottest team in the postseason. Just a baseball fan. That doesn't mean I'm not all in on our Yanks.
But Josh, you don't have to feel, just because Kev's in your ear, okay? You don't have to feel obligated to give the Mets anything. Because the Mets, listen, yeah, they've been hot in the postseason. But, like, what does everyone want? Just crown them right now? It's like, again, I think they're a little delusional. And like what you said with Tony's comment earlier, or last night, whatever it was,
going all the way,
that you're really downplaying what's in front of you. There's 2 7-game series. If you're fortunate enough to be in both, that you have to win. It's a 7-game series. You won a wild card series and a 5-game series. 7-game series is a completely different animal.
It is.
But
Kev, it's a team game. Bud Judge is better than Lindor.
Way better. And you again, do sure right now, but it's not about the past couple games. It's about what he's doing tonight. And I can't wait, Kev, to discuss this with you tomorrow. So I know you're going to have some excuse, some playoff, and I could go all day long about this, but I won't. But as Stephen A once said to Skip, be careful.
Yes.
What else?
Josh, all I said, they're the hottest team. Fires can easily be put out, but they are the hottest. Simple. LOL. Let's fucking go Yankees.
Let's fucking go. Exactly. Let's fucking go. Okay. Enough of this fucking Mets.
Well, we got to talk about them.
No, we will. And actually, I actually had the game on.
Wow.
Because obviously we have the
multiple
TVs in the basement. I don't even need to go into detail, but you can imagine how I'm watching the game, of course. But it's a tight, close game. And I really think, there could be some ridiculous breakdown, but there doesn't need to be. What it came down to, Carlos Esteves coming in,
Mm-hmm.
bases loaded.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was a 2-1 count on Francisco Lindor. Left one over the middle,
Mm-hmm.
did damage. That's the difference in the game. I mean, that is the whole game. That is what won the Mets the game. And this was actually the 6th inning. So the Phillies going to the bullpen early after Suarez did a pretty good job. The walks got his pitch count up. But Hoffman gets into trouble. They try to go to Estevez, who had been so good, since coming over from the Angels at the trade deadline. But he makes that mistake, and that was really the difference in the game. And obviously, the Mets pitching staff did a good job here between Quintana.
Yeah, we were watching this live. Tony was
Diaz,
hyped.
And Judy, our office manager, she's a big Mets fan, and you met her when you got when you guys gave me the ride that time. She was saying though the 2 walks in the 9th, definitely was nervous, thought Diaz was gonna blow it.
Yeah, so did Tony.
So he doesn't. They move on and they await Michael, the winner of tomorrow's
Who won last night?
Win or go home, game 5
Dodgers ended up
between
winning?
the Dodgers and the Padres. The Dodgers evening up the series last night at 2 games apiece. In a game that I definitely didn't expect it to be more, down to the wire, very close. But it wasn't. The Dodgers just got to a big lead, coasted. Dylan Cease, I believe, got taken out in the 2nd inning. So definitely was surprised to see that. Padres with the chance to go to the NLCS. And offensively, 7 hits, no runs. 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. That's not how you win playoff games. And the Dodgers go with the bullpen game, and it works out for them. And obviously with the off day, those guys get rest. And it's on to Friday, win or go home. And listen, I know the Dodgers, will have the home field there, of course, for game 5, and had the better record during the regular season. Padres did win the season series, but going into this game, or going into this series, I fully expected Padres to win. I'm not wavering on that. Dodgers haven't announced a starter for this game. I don't know if they're thinking about doing a bullpen game again. I would be careful with that. The Padres go with Yu Darvish, who missed some time this year, has been spotty in the playoffs before, actually with the Dodgers, ironically enough. But I think, last night, was the exception, wasn't the norm. And I fully expect Friday night, the Padres to be fired up, and, it may be a close game. It may be a classic game. I wouldn't be surprised if, Fernando Tatis or Manny Machado go ahead home run, almost similar to Stanton's 7th or 8th inning. And if the Padres do win, that would set up a great rematch of the 2022 National League Wild Card Series between the Mets and the Padres. So that would be a good one. Either way, the Mets are headed out west, and we'll just have to wait for the results of that game 5 on Friday night. So I think that's very intriguing there. And it's, it's hard. I never really necessarily had an issue with the Dodgers, but I think, after what they did, circumventing the CBA with Ohtani, and then the whole thing with Yamamoto as well, hard to really root for them. And, I think too, what did it for me is going to the Padres Stadium, Petco Park there. It made me have an appreciation for that park and the team. So I really hope that the Padres get the job done tomorrow. And what a performance by them, especially if you consider the fact, that they trade their best player in Juan Soto, and find themselves 1 win away from the NLCS. And speaking of 1 win away, the Tigers are 1 win away from the ALCS, squeaking into the playoffs with 86 wins. But here they are. They split the first 2 games in Cleveland and win their first game at home here 3-0 yesterday. What a story. And obviously nobody, especially all of us Yankee fans, want to give AJ Hinch, the former Astros manager, any type of credit here. But what a managerial job he has done with this Tigers team. I mean, you look at the roster. I mean, of course, we know Scubal is unbelievable. But other than that, I mean, you would think there was no way in hell this team, I mean, I would say even had a 500 record. So the fact that they're one game away from the ALCS is truly remarkable. And they piece it together with a bullpen game. I mean, Montero, who had been a starter, only throws 6 pitches first inning, and then right to the pen. Herder 3 1/3 scoreless, Brisky 2 scoreless, Gunther got an out, Vest with an inning and a third scoreless, and then Holton for the save there in the top of the 9th inning. I mean, what a performance here by the Tigers. And listen, they don't have a bunch of offense, but they've been playing these games smart and getting good relief pitching from their bullpen. And it's amazing how the Guardians, they have the 5-run first inning, against the Tigers in game 1. Since then, so what? I mean, you've got 2 games and 8 innings, and they've only scored 2 runs. So that offense has been completely silenced. And it sets up for a very big game this afternoon in Detroit. And, hard not to like the Tigers in this scenario. That's for sure. And before we get to the selections for tonight's games, I believe, Michael, we have some more comments here.
We do. Gosh. Oh, God. Dodgers, what the fuck are you watching? A comment like that. Lindor just hit a grand slam. Judge has done what for us? Just stop. Shake my head. Wow. Matthew Ryan, Judge at Prez. Judge will get hot. I have faith. Josh says, Josh is really doubting Judge over here. I have history. It looks like he's not feeling Judge turning around anytime soon. Josh, Maddie, Ryan need to go collect his shopping carts, not worry what we are talking about, because you see he makes moronic mistakes. Josh B, I am smoking weed right now for my anxiety, bud. 200 hitter Josh B says he needs to wake the fuck up, that's for sure. At Kev Do, Yankees are so much better. I want to see the Yankees in the ALCS. Kev Do says maybe you shouldn't smoke weed because it's making you super dumb, and you're already dumb as it is without the weed. Fuck AJ Hinch, can't stand him. I'm just looking at what is literally right in front of me.
Yeah, but I just think.
Sorry, I was just making sure we were good.
I was so confused about that for a second. I was like, is this really coming from my computer? But yeah, Josh, I mean, listen, I mean, we all want more. We all expect more from Judge. But, I mean, are we not, paying attention to the fact that last night, I mean, you could tell he had some really good swings. I mean, that ball in the first inning, 150 miles an hour, like that's falling in tonight. That's not going to go right to a fielder. And are we ignoring his track record? Like, I mean, me and Michael, we were just mentioning this at the beginning of the show, talked about it so many times before. You're not a playoff guy until you are a playoff guy. And you don't get that many opportunities in the postseason, only a couple of series if you're lucky per year, if that. So yeah, has he disappointed, especially recently in the postseason? Sure. But like, does that mean that we just rule it out that he's going forward, that he's not? I mean, that would be very irresponsible. And you think about even the beginning of this season. I mean, the stuff he had to hear, you're not performing early. And then what did he do? Oh, yeah, he hit 58 home runs and is going to win his second career MVP award. If anybody deserves the benefit of the doubt, it's 100% him. And we have some more comments. If we could get to those, Michael.
We can. I'm really thinking about if the Mets and Yankees make the World Series, I might have to put a ban on if Barnes will make it. Haven't made it up my mind yet. I think he's saying like put a G on the game. That's enough, or on the series. That's enough cackling, you hens. Let's just admit Lafreniere's goal was the best thing I've seen this year. That's funny, Tommy. I mean, way to cool it off.
Great W, but it's gonna be tough to hone in until the baseball season.
No, but it was, dude. It was
Igor first shot since 56.
Dude,
goal. Stop. Did you know that? Honestly, come on.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But that's embarrassing.
But that's a long time.
That's embarrassing on the Rangers. That's what I'm going to say.
But it's great for Igor.
Looks like his decision to hold out is working so far.
Yeah.
Barnes sounds like Boone. He had some hard hits. LMAO. Tommy, hockey. Tommy, it's the first game of the year. Thank you, Barnes. I feel the same way.
I don't. Same way about what?
Igor is on my fantasy team.
But the thing is, like Kev, I mean, I'm sorry, but like you could say whatever you want. You didn't watch the game. So to say that I sound like Boone, it's like it's baseball. You're failing at least 70% of the time. You want to see that you're recognizing pitches, making contact. You could tell if you watch the games instead of just chirp about them that when guys start to make solid contact, that means a hot stretch is coming. But if you don't pay attention, you're not going to know that.
100%.
So, I'm fired up, and I Josh B again. Like I want some more confidence out of you, buddy. We don't owe the Mets anything. There's nothing to acknowledge for the Mets. It's about the Yankees, and they're no more far ahead than we are. The series is in the same spot that it was for them. So to act like they've accomplished anything greater, they haven't. They just played an extra game. We're getting the job done tonight. Let's fucking go. I'm so amped for that. And the big reason why, besides that, I know that Aaron Judge is due to bust out here. Big game, big home run. The fact that Garrett Cole's pitching, his career in the postseason, he's made 18 starts, 10-6 with a 305 earned run average. So he's big time when we need him most. And I know he's going to be so fired up. So let's go. And I also think that while, you look at it, and I mean, we did get him for a few runs in the first game, but I think we can take it a step further with Waka, and obviously the Royals facing elimination. We're going to have a tight leash on him, but what I'm saying, to give it an analogy, I would say Game 5, 2022 ALDS, Aaron Savali, it was either no outs or 1 out. Giancarlo Stanton, first inning, 3-run homer. That type of let's knock him out early. Let's have him scramble into the bullpen. We fucking got this. I know we're going to jump on him early. I know that the team is so pumped watching the post game last night. It's a great feeling. And before we do the frenzy, let's catch up one more time, Michael. We might break a comment record this show.
Sorry. I was just reading text.
No.
Oh, God, about not tuning into hockey. How many times has Boone said that this
Irrelevant.
year? Kev, you should watch Yankee games to know what you're talking about. Judge will dominate. Kev, you guys have a good pitching staff. ESPN
don't have a good
Espen bullpen,
staff, especially in the bullpen.
Garrett Cole is a fucking ace. Matty Ryan, shut your ass up and watch a Mets game. See our bullpen.
That's all I have to say, Michael. All right.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you would, sir, if you could cue up the music, it is time for a Thursday edition, the American League Division Series Frenzy, starting at 6:08 on TNT, Detroit, Michigan. The matchup here, the pivotal Game 4 between the Tigers and the Guardians. Tanner Beebe getting the start for Cleveland. Did well in the regular season. The Tigers, undecided. Seems like once again, they're going with the bullpen game here. But I just think the Tigers, you want to talk about teams being hot. The Tigers are hot here. And I think once again, they will put together the right selection of pitchers to silence those Guardians bats. And I'm going to say, I know it seems kind of crazy, and I know sure we could pull up numbers. Who knows if it's happened? Maybe it's happened once. You wouldn't think that it's happened often, Michael. But I think for the third game in a row, we're going to have the same exact score, 3-0 Tigers, a parallel to Game 2. Clase serving it up to Kerry Carpenter. I think Carpenter, another big home run in this one, a 3-run shot. Tigers bullpen keep the Guardians at bats at bay. So it's the Tigers and it's the under, and it's the Tigers in the 2024 American League Championship Series. But what I was going to say, first time since 2012, who did they play? None other than your New York Yankees, 808 Kauffman Stadium, Kansas City, Missouri. Go ahead, pan to George Brett and Patrick Mahomes a million times. I hope we see them sobbing tonight The Yankees looking to advance to the American League Championship Series. Garrett Cole towing the slab against Michael Wacha. And I think what I expect to see in this one, Cole, a completely different animal this time around. Sure, rattled out of sorts game 1. Game 4, with a trip to the ALCS on the line, Garrett Cole completely dialed 7 shutout innings, striking out 10, only allowing 2 hits, no walks, complete dominance. First inning, Yankees, Glaber, 10-pitch at bat, works a walk. Oh, Soto's up. What do you know? He's going to walk because he's going to be patient. Aaron Judge steps up to the plate, hanging breaking ball, first pitch, 3-0 Yankees, and that carries them the rest of the way as they advance to the ALCS, a 5-2 victory. Yankees and the under. Yankees Tigers American League Championship Series. And just like that, that is your baseball frenzy. Let's fucking go. And I still think we have more comments, Michael.
We do.
You're kind of like everyone shut the fuck up.
Don't have a good pitching. Jesus Christ, Matthew. Matthew, what are you watching? Yankees better win the series. I want to see Brian cry. Prez, look at DS Shakes and Matan Bud and who else? Kev, the Yankees will win the series. Matt Ryan, if the Yanks don't win, I will be coming to your job, blasting the song, Oh My God song, and watch you cry. Bring it, Bud.
Yeah, please bring it. And it's just like, again, I mean, could you help me out here, Michael? Like, I don't know.
Let's just get the job done, and then we could talk to them.
No, but exactly. But I'm saying I don't know what like they're expecting out of me. Like, I'm pumped up for my team. Yep. I don't care about yours. What do you want me to do? I mean, does it need to be more complicated than that?
No.
Unbelievable. But yeah, like you said, echoing those sentiments, let's get the fucking job done tonight. I know that we will. And I can't wait to talk about it tomorrow. That is for sure. But let's switch gears here, Michael. Let's go to the world of the National Football League.
He wants Jefferson, climbs the ladder. Oh my goodness! Justin Jefferson, the catch of his life.
Burrow fires, intercepted, picked off at a pick 6. Minka Fitzpatrick, an absolute ball hawk.
Niners twist up front and get to Tagovailoa. Bosa again. Mahomes escaping on the move, stops, spins, flips it forward for the touchdown.
Stop it.
Aaron Jones. Oh, what a tackle. Quincy Williams with a pile driver.
All right. So believe it or not, Michael, week 6, beginning tonight, the National Football League, a classic NFC West showdown between the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. Tony in the building, missed a good conversation, forgot the laptop. But looking forward to catching up with him tomorrow on a huge show. So I know that he's jacked up. He looks like, I'm saying 3.5 hours, 4.
He should have gotten some sleep.
No sleep.
Why?
Can't sleep.
You didn't sleep because you were thinking about it all night. You definitely were. I know it. Anyhow,
I had to turn the show off today.
Oh man, you love to hear it. Anyway, Seattle and San Francisco here, and really, both teams really want this one. I mean, you think about San Francisco. Yes, McCaffrey's missed the whole season up to this point. But 2-3, that's just not what you're anticipating, and especially losing to Arizona last week. You would think they'd be fired up for this one, but then you think about the Seahawks, the 3-0 start, the Bills kind of torching them on Monday Night Football, and then to lose, or not the Bills, but the Lions, but to lose to the New York Giants, last Sunday, that 4:00 game, that really must have hit home. So it puts me in a position as to, you don't know where to go here because both teams need this game. I mean, you think about all the variables here, the offense, the defense, the special teams, the coaching, and that is what kind of does it for me here. just thinking about coaching, just thinking about Kyle Shanahan, the wizard that he is, especially as a play caller. But he's been in these scenarios before. The Niners have got off to slow starts before. And the key is putting his weapons in position to make plays. We know they have one of the best defenses in the league. So I think we're going to get that type of game out of San Francisco. Now, those two games that they won this year, 32-19 over the New York Jets, 30-13 over the New England Patriots. And I just think you're going to see that type of offensive performance again tonight. And I know McCaffrey's still out, short week, all of that divisional game. But I just think they're fired up. They're ready to get their season moving in the right direction. And I'm really expecting nothing less here. I think what's going to happen is we're going to have our patented Thursday night tight early, Michael. I would say, let's call it 13-7 Niners at the horn, end of the second quarter. And then I think, as the third quarter progresses, they start wearing away at that Seattle defense, running the ball effectively. I think Mason, yet again, been one of the biggest revelations, especially for fantasy football, goes over 100 yards. I think Purdy makes a big throw second half. And then they pull away to win this one. I'm going to say 27-14. So that would be the Niners, and it's going to be the under 49.5, a big total there. But I think this one is lower scoring, and the San Francisco 49ers moving to 3-3. Seattle moving to 3-3, very disappointingly so, losing 3 games in a row after a 3-0 start. Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit on the call, 8:15 Prime Video. Just like that, that is your Thursday night football frenzy as we kick off week 6. And of course, a lot of football discussion coming up tomorrow. The frenzy, the picks with the TCA. And it's so funny because I keep mentioning this and I'm going to keep mentioning it. So Kev wants to keep mentioning stuff. I'm going to mention stuff. And all the chatter last year with the picks, the graphics before the show even starts, to now, oh, what are the records? Oh, you guys are winning? Oh, we didn't know that. Stop. Stop right now. You want to step up and have a good week? Go ahead. But so far,
what's the record right now?
That's the problem. I don't have it exactly, but actually I should know. So I want to say, so there's been, 5 weeks, 3 periods each. So it's 15 games. So geez, I want to say it's like not, if I had to guess, I think it's 9-6 for us. And then I think, so what, 2 less wins. So it would be 7-5 for them, something like that. So small lead, but yet a lead. And it's just interesting. Like I said, the chatter has gone away, but there will be a lot of discussion about that on tomorrow's show. But if we could, Michael, move to the world of the National Hockey League.
Speed, here he comes. McDavid shoots, top shelf, he scores! Captain with the overtime winner! That's the middle break. That's a world-class hit right here. Tomsky stepping, rink Washington made the full split save.
Are you kidding me?
Turn, side of the net, between the legs, and they score! Filthy! David Pastrnak, the silver trophy to the Golden Knights.
The National Hockey League, Michael. We saw the New York Rangers open their season, winning the President's Cup trophy last year, ultimately falling to the Florida Panthers in the Eastern Conference Finals, out for a vengeance this year. And let's just say, listen, you can only play the games on your schedule. Obviously, we're not going to the playoffs for a long time. And the Penguins, I know Tony is somewhat defensive of them. I think they've been in decline for so long, and they really blew it by not trading their big players earlier. But they don't do that. They run back the Crosbys, the Malkins, the Letang, and they go with that group, and they lose 6-0. Igor Shesterkin, as I mentioned, that first shutout since the 1950s in a opening game for a Ranger goaltender. You love to see that. And the fact, too, because we've seen in the postseason before, Michael, the offense drying up at times, and this was just consistent scoring through in and throughout. First period, only 2.5 minutes in, Sam Carrick with the goal, assisted by Trouba and Brodzinski on that one. Lafreniere, with about 2.5 minutes remaining in the first, his first goal of the year. Tommy was riled up for that one. Chris Kreider with a goal 12 seconds before the horn. So 3-0 Rangers. They had a Philip Hedl goal there in the second period to make it 4-0. Chris Kreider with a shorty, his second goal of the game, 5-0 Rangers. And then Vinny T, his first goal of the season, of course, 6-0 Rangers. That's the mark. So a dominant opening performance here. And speaking of openers, they will have their home opener Saturday. First official matchup between them and the now Utah Hockey Club. So I'm sure the Garden is going to be rocking for that one. And listen, so much to go. We get it. You can't overemphasize the first game of 82. But it was the way that you wanted to start. So definitely pumped up about that. And I know, Michael, the offseason, gets a little long, probably, not following it too closely, but more or less, Rangers running it back from last season. What are you honestly thinking here? Because I know you watched a lot of the playoff games with us. Saw them come up short.
I kind of like it.
And is it just because?
But if this season they don't do it, you got to switch it up.
It's really pushing it though.
Yeah. But I think they've got the chemistry and they're going to go deep. I think they could win it.
Yeah. So really hope to see that. So like I said, they'll have that second game of the season on Saturday. Around the league, and I have to give him credit. Me and Tony were having a chuckle about the Canadiens goaltender Montembeault, but he has a shutout in the opener. 1-0 Canadiens at the Bell Center.
Wow.
Was really surprised to see that result. So congratulations to him, 48 of 48 net. And speaking of shutouts, how about the Jets? Are you kidding me? 6-0.
Wow.
Connor Hellebuck pitching the shutout there. So the Jets, were a very good team last season, struggled in the postseason. So really looking to make their mark this year. They get off to a good start. Hellebuck 30 of 30. The Flames in OT taking out the Canucks. So that was definitely a surprise result. We've seen this Calgary team be very disappointing last couple of years after being strong the previous few years prior to that. But it's Connor Zary, the OT game winner there. So the Canucks going down, and obviously, 6-5 win, talk about a shootout. And then the last game of the night here, we saw the Golden Knights score 8 goals against the Colorado Avalanche. So that was very surprising, and not the fact that I don't expect the Knights to be a good team this year, but I just thought Colorado, they're jacked up, Stanley Cup champs a few years back, looking to get back to that point. But it just wasn't the way that you wanted your season to start. Gorgie pulled, so we saw him, great start to his season last year, really tapered down the stretch. So it was surprising to see him give up 5 goals on 16 shots. And you look at the Vegas Golden Knights here, you had 3 goals in the first after allowing the first goal of the game to Rantanen, Olofsson, Barbashev, and Stone. Rantanen gets his second on a power play, so it's 3-2 Vegas, but then White Cloud 4-2, middle stop for Colorado answers to make it 4-3, but Olofsson makes it 5-3, so 5-3 going into the third, and 3 more goals for Vegas after Rantanen had a hat trick. Mark Stone, Barbashev, and Howden finish it off. So Vegas, another team, champions a couple years ago, looking to get back and starting the way that they want to start here. So some exciting results there in the National Hockey League. At the end of the day, obviously, excited for the Rangers as they begin their quest to return to the Stanley Cup final for the first time since 2013. A lot of games on the slate tonight. So the music is already playing, Michael, but it is time for the Thursday night edition, as Tony would say, Hockey Night in America. Games all over the place. First one, Bruins, Canadiens. Canadiens on the back-to-back. Boston's an interesting team. So dominant, but so pedestrian at certain times. But I think just because Canadiens back-to-back, probably backup tender here, I think Swayman will be dialed. I could see Pastrnak having a hattie here. I think this is a dominant victory at home for the Bruins. First home game of the year. I think they'll win this one. I'm going to say 5-0. I think Swayman with the shutout. Sabres, Kings. Sabres losing those 2 games in Croatia. Kings, first night of the season for them. So you don't really have too much to go off of here. But I just think Tage Thompson, we saw him bust on the scene a couple years ago, was disappointing last year, has a goal so far. I think he goes back to his 2022 ways with a hat trick. And I think the Sabres will take care of business here at home against the Kings. Home opener. I'm going to say they'll win this one 5-3. Panthers at the Senators, 7:00 in Ottawa, the Canadian Tire Center, Michael. We saw the Panthers blow out the Bruins in their first game. Goals all over the place. I know the Senators fans will be riled there, but the Panthers are a real problem. So much scoring. I think they score 6 goals. After scoring a ton in the opener, they score 6 here and defeat the Senators 6-3. So that would be the Panthers in the over. The Devils in action here. First home game of the season against the Maple Leafs. Good start for the Devils. Obviously, they just played the Sabres in Croatia, so how much can you really take away from that? But you would think Maple Leafs jacked up after getting shut out last night. They bounced back. Austin Matthews, 2 goals, 2 assists. Tavares with 3 assists. 5-2 Maple Leafs over the Devils. The Utah Hockey Club winning their opener in Utah. How exciting. Speaking of openers, Islanders season opener over there at UBS Arena. This is an interesting one. We've seen the Isles be so good, but struggle so much at the same time over the last couple of years. You would hope this year's for different, for them. They've been waiting a while. A lot of vets on that team. Sorokin, what's he going to do this year? I think the Islanders will win this game. I think it's one of those tight Islander games. Casey Cizikas, the go-ahead goal, third period, 3-2 Islanders. Islanders in the under. Moving along, the Penguins at the Red Wings. So the Red Wings, first game of the season here. The Penguins getting slaughtered last night at home. Now they're on the road. And I think they start 0-2. I think the Red Wings fired up. Dylan Larkin, Tony's guy. I'm going to say 2 goals, 2 assists. Red Wings 5, Penguins 4. Red Wings in the over. 8:00, ESPN plus Hulu. Stars, Predators. Predators, season opening game at home. Stars, season opening game on the road. Both very good teams last season. I think the Predators at home will hold here. A tight game, but they win 3-2. Predators in the under. Wild hosting the Blue Jackets. Blue Jackets' first game since the unfortunate passing of Johnny Gaudreau and his brother. I think they're going to play inspired hockey this year. Nothing is expected out of them. I think they get the upset in Minnesota. I'm going to say 1-0 in a shootout. So a crazy game there. Last game of the night, the Blues, the Sharks. And last year I got burned so many times with Tony with these picks. Taking the Sharks, obviously a terrible team. Any hope here? Home opener. I just think the Blues are better. Kyrou with the 2 goals. Binnington lights out in the first game. I think the Blues get the job done here. 6-3. Blues in the over. Just like that. That is your hockey frenzy, Michael.
Beautiful.
Are you kidding me?
I'm pumped.
And I think we got 100 comments. While we were doing this.
In my fantasy team, I'm at 3-2. Got to win for Sam. Let's go
Sam
Rangers.
Rosen, legend.
Barney, I don't know how we're even going to see each other this week. I'm booked, and you guys are probably booked.
Michael, hey, listen, we have to see you for Christmas. That's fine. But I just want you to be focused on the game tonight.
Yes. Right? And then Matthew Ryan ends it with New Jersey Devils dominating.
Probably tight going against.
Sabres Devils was in Czechia, not Croatia. Why do I have to be that guy? Apologies.
Well, first of all, isn't it the Czech Republic or is it like I've never heard Czechia?
Czechia, I've never.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
It's all right.
But wow. It's crazy that it's already Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny. I was listening to just before we wrap up here. I was listening to DNR. They're talking about Rodgers, and of course, downplaying that he got Saleh fired. Did you hear any of that stuff, Michael?
I heard Rodgers on Pat McAfee.
Okay, you think complete bullshit or no?
I don't know. I feel like I heard Saleh was gonna take the play calls away from Nathaniel. And right before he did it, he got fired.
You think?
That's what I think maybe happened.
But I mean, at the end of the day, I would think this move, can only help the Jets, no?
Yes, 100%.
Because it's just like I don't see what Saleh was, contributing positively here at all.
No.
What you know what I mean? At least Ulbrich,
nice guy, but I don't need a nice guy.
Yeah, it's my football coach.
Yeah,
and it's amazing too. This doesn't get talked about enough. All the focus over the years, Jets struggling, always on the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
What the fucking coach? What coach have we had since Bill Parcells?
I know, honestly,
you can't wing it. And the fact too that they don't even try to get the offensive innovator. And I know this cycle, whatever you want to say, it's different because Rodgers, you wanted this guy Hackett. I still think it was terrible. It was just a terrible decision to go into Saleh this season. And obviously we'll talk about it tomorrow, but 1 to 10, honestly, confidence level winning that game Monday night at MetLife.
8.
Really? Okay. So there's just a slight trepidation, but overall,
yes,
boosting confidence.
Yes.
Rodgers fired up.
Yes. Playbook open.
Last time that they played at MetLife against the Bills was the Rodgers injury, the flag, but the OT win, the punt return. Do we see a tight game like that? We'll find out tomorrow. And I just want to double check here. I believe because of the time difference. I am mistaken. Okay, so we are underway in Utah. The first PGA Tour event in Utah here, the Black Desert Championship. Very early on, but your leader here, co-leaders, Kevin Streelman and Roger Sloan. Obviously, very early on here, many of the golfers, have not teed off. But I know Golf Channel will have this coverage later, I think 6 to 9, with the time difference. So definitely interested to, catch some of that, before the Yankee game. And I was playing a little of this course on PGA Tour, on a PlayStation last night. Really, really beautiful course. So I'm excited to see how these guys do. They had Chris Kirk on PGA Tour Radio, getting interviewed yesterday. And, he was just saying it's a true test too, which you don't usually see in these fall events. It's usually a birdie fest. So it's nice that they're putting a challenge in front of the guys that decided to play this tournament. So we'll talk about that tomorrow as well. So an action-packed show for you guys tomorrow. But a great show today. And really appreciate everybody who tuned in and continues to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives on the YouTube page. Tony, Michael, Renee, and Jay in costume, the merch at downtimetv.com. We want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games. Let's go Yankees! And we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best.